funds to move the fire tower to the fairgrounds were raised by private means. There was no funding from the county or from the fair board, strictly donors who had their name put on the step or corporations who bought platforms. The kiosk depicted many letters from the people in the Pinewood area saying thank you for saving the fire tower. The fire tower was dedicated to two people, Mark Zeller and Rosie Kopang. Mark Zeller was a fire tower preservationist, and Rosie Kopang worked the fire tower for 22 years in Pinewood. We sold 2 name tags per step, thus we have 2 fire towers showing the names. Besides being on the kiosk, they're on a website, and each person has a name tag fastened to the step of the fire towers. There's an A-side listing of people, and there's a B-side listing of people. We had to do it this way in order to raise enough money to move the tower. I thank you to all who donated money to save this part of our history in saving this particular fire tower. Now the kids today can say, yes, I remember, I climbed the fire tower too when I was small. Thank you for your donation. The fire tower move was phase 1. Phase 2 was the Forestry Education Center building. The Pinewood Fire Tower was moved here in 2004 from Pinewood, Minnesota, which is about 20 miles west of Bemidji. The Forestry Education Center building was opened in 2013. The ribbon cutting ceremony was held during Fair Week. We're going to go inside and take a look and see what some of the displays look like. We're going to take you on a private tour inside the building so you can see what the displays look like. If you wish to come out during non-fair week, you can do so by calling the following phone number down here, which is the fair office, and make a reservation for a tour. We'll be glad to do it for you. Let's go inside and take a look around and see what there is to see. When you walk in the door, there'll be somebody behind this beautiful desk, one piece of laminate wood here, to answer any questions you may have and perhaps even show you around. Sometimes they're presenters. We'd like to have some old products here besides new and what's happening in forestry, particularly this candlestick phone. How many kids have talked to grandma on a candlestick phone? None, unless they're my age. And I don't recall one of those things. In my age, it was a party line and or a dial telephone. Cash register, remember those days? It was music to our ears when we put money into the machine. When you first walk in the door, there's a table set up here. And on this table is a fire finder. When you stop here at this table, this is an authentic fire finder used up in the Minnesota fire towers. The alidade, which is a device that turns and points at the smoke, is bolted down. Otherwise, the kids try to see how fast they can get it going. But we have a model here that they can play with, and we explain how you spot a forest fire and what you do next. And that'll be explained to you when you take a tour of the building. From the display on the green table, we go to a more current and more modern firefinder called the Osborne Firefinder. The panel explains what everything is about and how it works. This even has a rangefinder on it. This is quite old, although they're making them again, but they run about $3,000. Osborne Firefinder. Next to the Osborne Firefinder is a display depicting a variety of forest fire lookout towers. Some are quite unusual. You'll have somebody explain what each picture is and where it's located. In fact, we have a photograph here of a fire tower burning down, which is kind of, well, very unusual as a matter of fact. We also have a sample of a firefinder with a rotatable alidade, and we explain how that works again besides looking at the one on the table when you walk in the door. This is a fire crossing map of the Chippewa National Forest, about a 1941, 1950 vintage. I don't know the exact year. I found these in the Chippewa National Forest when I was a kid, and they gave me 2. One I lost, and one was put away in a box, luckily, because then the light wouldn't get at it and fade it. We were able to find a scanner big enough almost to scan this, so we have it preserved for today. Otherwise, I have the last chart, and that's it. Now everybody can get a copy of this for the cabin if they wish. The red compass roses on here are fire tower locations, and the fire tower is in the middle. There's about 41 on here. Today, there's one up by Black Duck, Minnesota. There's one near Cass Lake by Pike Bay, one north of Winnebagoche, and there's one down south. Once the fire tower operator gave him the azimuth or compass heading to the fire based on the firefinder, they would pull out a string and put it on the heading that they were told by the fire tower operator, and then they would pin it someplace on the chart. They knew the fire was along here someplace but didn't know exactly where until they called another fire tower and got his compass reading or azimuth reading. They would then pull the string out, put it on that reading, pin it, and where the strings crossed, that was your fire location. Fire crossing map. Next on display in the Forestry Education Center is an aviation map. You say, what does aviation have to do with fire towers? Well, these red arrows are pointing to something, and what they're pointing to is a circle with a triangle. These circles with triangles are fire towers, one every 10 square miles. This is Bemidji, Minnesota here. Now, they were used for navigation, but they were very difficult to see. I don't know, when they started taking the fire towers down in the 50s and 60s, they were still printed on the aviation map. Today, they're gone, so this is the only map that exists with these fire towers marked on the aviation chart. The reason this map is being shown here at the Forestry Education Center is because it's a fire map that was on a firefinder in Maine in 1917 of Mount Kineo. What does Maine have Minnesota doesn't have? Well, they have ocean, mountains, lobster, and it must be something else. Oh yeah, language. Maybe I shouldn't say that. They had to draw the mountains on the perimeter of their chart. So when let me get this map, when the alidade is turned at the smoke, besides getting the compass bearing on top here, they could see which mountain they were looking at. Each one had to be hand-drawn for each tower in Maine. This somewhat tinted brown map is a fire crossing map for the Bemidji area. As you walk through the room, there's quite a few displays, some on the wall and some on freestanding carts on both sides. Smokey Bear is in the corner, so you can take his picture with your kids. As you walk through the room, there'll be a variety of things to read and a stage and a video running. One of the big hits here at the Education Center is Smokey Bear, because most of us remember the campaign, the bear says, only you can prevent forest fires. Well, you're invited with your kids, or with your husband, whoever, girlfriend, to come up on stage and pose with Smokey Bear and have someone take your picture. This is a big draw here at the center. We have some large banners of a very unusual fire tower out west. You can read about it when you get in here. While we're waiting for the stage program to start or the PowerPoint program, most everybody likes to sit down and watch the water bombers. Minnesota has two. This program here runs about a half an hour. We can switch this off, and then we go to a PowerPoint program. It has to do with fire prevention, and part of the program is just for the kids. This is our stage, and we do have a lot of guest speakers. The various maps that you've seen, plus this patchboard, is available on a CD. You can print your own maps out. Or the patchboard is 11 by 17. Take it down to your favorite printing store. They can print it, laminate it, and you have a very unique table mat. Well, that's a kind of a quick walkthrough. There's a lot of things to be studied here as you read the information on all the panels, or just sit down and watch the presenter do a program here at the Forestry Education Center at the Beltrami County Fairgrounds in Bemidji, Minnesota. Well, that's our short tour of the Forestry Education Center here at the Beltrami County Fairgrounds in Bemidji, Minnesota. If you'd like to have a private tour call the phone number below here, which is the fair office. We'd like to have 10 or more if you could, and we'll open the building and do a program for you. We're also open for school groups. We're open before the fair in June, after the fair in August and September. We're probably going to be closed in October and throughout the winter. Hope you enjoyed your abbreviated short tour. Bye-bye.